Hi and welcome. By the end of this video, you will be an exponent expert, and I will freely give you this 3-step process that everybody wants because it's proven to make any math concept easy. It's so simple, and yet very few people actually use it. Why? Insecurity. Yep, insecurity. Let me explain. Who are the people most often telling you that math is difficult? Think about it. People who are younger than you and people who are older than you. Hear me out. I have taught thousands of students, and again they tell me that the people who are telling them that math is difficult are their younger siblings and their parents. But by the end of this video, you are going to be part of the growing group of people who knows how easy this stuff is. Maybe you can even be part of the group that teaches their parents. You see, your younger siblings are insecure because they don't want to be seen as a little kid, as a baby. Just ask them if their favorite show is Sesame Street and wait for the resounding no. Likewise, people who are older than you are insecure because it can make them feel dumb when somebody who is younger than them starts to learn things that they don't even remember how to do. And feeling dumb sucks, let's face it. No matter the person or the reason, it's easier to blame the math, to say the math is difficult, than to actually do something about it. But that's not you. The fact that you're here proves you already know that with a little bit of hard work and this easy 3-step process, you'll be able to become an expert with any math concept. You might be skeptical about how easy this process is, and to be honest, if you weren't, I might judge you a little. But believe me, it works. I'm gonna show it to you next, but right before I do, help me with a survey. I wanna know, which of these math jokes would your teacher like more? If it's the first one, write exponents in the comments below, and if it's the second one, write higher powers in the comments below. Thanks for taking the time to do this. It will really help me with some additional research that I'm conducting. As promised, here is the 3-step process that is guaranteed to make any math concept easier. Now, number 1 is broken into 2 parts. The first part of it is to absorb the instruction. So whether it's a lesson, a lecture, note, video, inquiry, textbook, exploration, or game, take the time to really absorb the instructions being given to you. And the second part of that is if you take the time to create a note, and this is not copying down a note that your teacher writes on the board, but this has to be a note that you create. And remember, handwritten notes attach to your memory better than typed notes. But if you take the time to create a note, you'll be able to identify how much you actually know and what gaps in your knowledge you still have. A great style of note-taking for this is the Feynman technique. When I started using this technique, I was able to learn things 10 times faster. And I'm not going to go into detail about how to use the Feynman technique in this video, but I'll post a link in the description below where you can find out all about it. If you still haven't found a style of notes that's just right for you, I definitely recommend taking a look. Number 2, you need to ask questions. Now this one sounds pretty basic, but let me explain. Oftentimes, teachers ask, "Does anyone have any questions?" And you don't raise your hand because you don't know if you have any questions yet. Here's a little test you can do to quickly find out if you fully understand. Find somebody nearby, or if you don't mind looking a little crazy, draw a face on your hand and talk to yourself, and try to explain exactly how to do today's math as if you're teaching it to a child. If you can give a complete explanation, then you're rocking. If you get stuck while you're giving your explanation, then you've done yourself the favor of figuring out exactly which part is tripping you up. Now's the time to ask a question, and you can ask a friend or you can ask the teacher. And here's a secret. Teachers love students who don't just throw up their hand and say, "I don't get it." They love when students can show they are trying. And so when you tell them, "I'm trying to figure this out, but here's where I'm getting stuck," you're going to build some instant cred with your teacher, believe me. If you do this process and you get all of your questions asked early on, then you'll have the rest of the time to do your work. And step 3 is to quiz yourself. Now here's the ultimate test. It's one thing to be able to reason through the practice questions when you're working with a partner or you have the answers available to you in the back of the textbook. But if you really want to make sure that you're good to go, make up a quiz. This doesn't have to be a big thing, just 2 or 3 questions. But better yet, you and a friend can each make up quizzes and trade them with each other. If you can complete the quiz accurately and with no help, then you're good to go. So that's the process. It works. Most people won't bother to use it, but most people aren't above average. There's no great mystery to success. Successful people simply find strategies that work and they use them all the time. The best news is that once you've started, it gets easier. After a while, it becomes automatic. It becomes a habit. You'll be doing these things all the time without even thinking about it, and success will just become a new normal. It will just become a regular part of your day. So let's put this to the test. I want everybody to try this so that I can prove to you how much of an instant advantage it is. Click the next video, and you'll learn how to calculate squares. This video is the instructions part that we talked about in step 1. So really take your time and pay attention to the explanation and the examples and absorb them fully. Watch it as many times as you need to and make sure you understand, because at the end of all this, I want you to take a quiz to prove to yourself that this really does work, to prove to yourself that you can get an A+ every single time. Now, just a little forewarning, the video I'm about to link to was my first video and the quality is a little rough, but the learning is there. See you at the next video.